Hello and welcome to Game of Box Office. Today we will take a look at the box office run of Man of Steel. Let's start off with some statistics. Man of Steel was released on June 14th, 2013 in 4,207 cinemas and ran a total of 98 days until the last performance on September 19th, 2013. The film was produced by Warner Bros. With a budget of $225 million and received an PG-13 rating. The film opened to $116.6 million and finished its run at $291.0 million in the USA and Canada. In addition, Man of Steel made $377 million in the rest of the world, resulting in a combined total of $668.0 million worldwide. We already analyzed two Zack Snyder movies with 300 and Watchmen. As we already mentioned in those videos, Zack Snyder landed a big box office hit with 300 and then a big box office flop with Watchmen. Too bad for Zack Snyder, the next two movies after Watchmen were also flops. The Owls of Ga'Hoole and Sucker Punch both underperformed heavily and were not able to gross their production budget back. However, Zack Snyder was able to get the directing job on Man of Steel, which was backed with the enormous budget of $225 million. That was definitely a big risk for the studio, but with the help of Christopher Nolan and David S. Goyer as scriptwriters on the project, most people were looking forward to Man of Steel. The movie generated a lot of hype to its release, and the, like always, perfectly staged trailers from Zack Snyder movies did their job of convincing people to have a positive feeling towards the movie. Just a few days before the release, some people even predicted it to break the biggest opening of 2013 that was set by Iron Man 3 with $174 million. But then first reviews were coming in and critics definitely not loved the movie. Man of Steel went on to gross $44.05 million on Friday, so predictions went down to $120 to $140 million for the weekend. Finally, Man of Steel fell short of that prediction, with roughly $117 million, which is fairly a big opening weekend, but most people expected more. That figure was still the second biggest opening weekend by a non-sequel behind The Hunger Games. It set a new June opening weekend record, and at the end of 2013, it was the third biggest opening weekend just behind Iron Man 3 and The Hunger Games Catching Fire. But when a movie opens that great and then falls short of grossing 300 million, it's, like most of the time, a sign of poor quality. In its first 10 weekends, the movie dropped immensely hard, with a huge second weekend drop of 65% and 3 other weekend drops of 58 to 62%. Because of that, the multiplier is well under 3, with the exact number being 2.49. Another factor that supports the poor run of Man of Steel when it comes to durability is the only 98 days long cinematic release. And we say in conclusion about Man of Steel. Of course, the movie performed way better at the box office when you compare it with Watchmen, Owls of Ga'Hoole and Sucker Punch. But to be fair, that's not hard to accomplish. The movie also did his job and grossed close to 3 times the budget, and with that gave Warner Bros. A little rain of money. The overall domestic gross, overseas gross and the worldwide total were also better than the last Superman movie before Man of Steel, Superman Returns from 2006, even when you adjust the ticket prices. But that's pretty much all that puts Man of Steel in a good light. A lot of people expected more from Man of Steel. Some expected even way more. It's quite strange to say that to a movie which grossed close to $670 million worldwide, but Man of Steel kind of underperformed. Most people expected a gross of $800 to $900 million worldwide. So yeah, Man of Steel was, in some eyes, a disappointment. Overall, the Game of Box Office team rates Man of Steel with the grade B-. Our upcoming video will be an analysis about Ex Machina, Star Trek, or a prediction about Batman vs Superman. We hope you enjoyed this analysis. Be sure to hit a like and subscribe to our channel. You can also support us on the social networks listed below. See you soon, bye bye.